Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into something that you might think you already know,
Yeah.
the creation story, but
Right.
we're looking at it through the lens of the Ethiopian Bible's chapter 1.
Okay.
And trust me, there are some really fascinating nuances here
Yeah.
that might surprise you.
It's true.
Me too. Yeah.
While the Ethiopian Bible follows that familiar six-day creation structure,
Right.
found in other Abrahamic traditions,
Mhm.
it's the specific wording and the emphasis
Yeah.
that makes it so compelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into those 6 days.
Okay.
Day 1 kicks off with light and darkness being separated.
Right.
Such a fundamental concept, right? It's like setting the foundation for everything that follows.
Right.
But what I found intriguing in the Ethiopian Bible
Okay.
is this repetition of, and God saw that it was good. It's not just about creating.
Right.
It's about acknowledging the inherent goodness
Yeah.
of each element. Right.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think it really highlights
Yeah.
the intentionality behind each act of creation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not random. It's
Mhm.
not haphazard.
Yeah.
God is actively evaluating
Right.
and affirming the goodness of every step.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Yeah.
each element is not only functional,
Right.
but it also carries a moral weight, you know?
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
It's not just about things working properly.
Right.
It's about them being inherently good.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, moving on to day 2,
Okay.
we have the separation of waters
Mm-hmm.
and the creation of the firmament,
Right.
which is essentially the sky.
Yes.
Then day 3 brings land emerging from the water
Mm-hmm.
and bursting with vegetation. You can almost visualize
No.
this planet coming to life.
Yes.
Layer by layer, can't you?
Absolutely. And the Ethiopian Bible
Yeah.
doesn't shy away from vivid imagery.
Right.
Then on day 4, we get the celestial bodies.
Sun, moon, and stars
Right.
placed to govern day and night
Mhm.
and the seasons.
Yeah.
It's like bringing order and rhythm to
Yes.
this newly formed world.
And then things get really lively on day 5.
Yes.
With all those fish filling the waters and birds taking to the skies.
Yeah,
It's this explosion of life.
it is.
And what stands out to me here
Yeah.
is the emphasis on diversity.
Mm-hmm.
The text mentions living creatures according to their kind,
Right.
showcasing this incredible variety of life on Earth.
It's not just life, but life in all its glorious forms.
Right.
That's a key element
Yeah.
in the Ethiopian Bible's creation narrative.
Mm-hmm.
The celebration of diversity
Right.
within creation.
Now, day 6 brings us to the creation of land animals and finally humans.
Yes.
But this is where I think things go beyond just a chronological account.
Okay.
What's your take on the significance of humans being created in
Yeah.
the image of God,
Hmm.
as stated in the Ethiopian Bible?
This is where we move from a simple creation story to a profound philosophical concept.
Yeah.
The phrase "in the image of God"
Right.
has been debated for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
But what's clear is that it elevates
Yeah.
humanity's position within creation.
Right.
It implies a unique connection to the divine,
Mm-hmm.
suggesting that we possess
Right.
of God's essence.
So it's not just about physical resemblance,
Right.
but about something deeper.
Exactly.
Like our capacity for reason,
Yeah,
creativity, or perhaps even love.
exactly.
Yeah.
It suggests that we're not just another species,
Right.
but are imbued with a spark of the divine, setting us apart
Yeah.
from the rest of creation.
And this idea of being in the image of God
Right.
directly connects to the next big concept, dominion and stewardship.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 28 of the Ethiopian Bible states that humans are to rule
Right.
over creation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
This is where interpretations can get
absolutely.
really interesting, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's a statement that has been used to justify both
Right.
exploitation
Right.
and responsible care for the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Some might interpret rule as a license to dominate
Yeah.
and use the Earth's resources however we see fit.
So that's the
Right.
we're in charge, let's do what we want interpretation.
Exactly.
But I imagine there's another side to this coin.
Right. Others view this rule as a call for stewardship,
Okay.
emphasizing our responsibility
Yeah.
to care for and protect the environment.
Right.
It's less about dominance
Mm-hmm.
and more about being entrusted
Yeah.
with the well-being of creation.
So which is it? Are we masters of the earth or its caretakers?
Right.
The Ethiopian Bible seems to leave that question open.
I think that's the point.
Yeah.
The text presents us with a powerful concept and then invites us to contemplate its implications.
Right.
It challenges us to consider what our own beliefs are regarding humanity's relationship with the natural world.
It definitely prompts some introspection.
Absolutely.
The Ethiopian Bible's creation story isn't just telling us what happened, it's asking us how we choose to live in light of it.
Right, exactly.
This is where I think things get really relevant for us, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. This isn't just an ancient story.
Right.
It's a conversation starter.
Yeah.
About our role and responsibility on this planet.
Right.
What does it mean to be made in the image of God?
Yeah.
In a world facing environmental challenges.
Right.
What does responsible rule look like in the 21st century?
Right.
These are questions
the
Ethiopian Bible encourages us to wrestle with. And it's not just about our relationship with the environment.
Right.
This idea of being made in God's image also raises questions about our relationships with each other.
You're right. It's all connected. If we're all reflections of the divine, shouldn't that fundamentally change how we view and treat one another?
Absolutely.
Does it imply a certain level of respect and dignity we owe to every human being? Regardless of differences.
That's a powerful question to consider.
Yeah.
It challenges us to look beyond superficial differences and recognize the inherent worth in every individual.
Right.
It pushes us to consider the ethical implications of our actions.
Yeah.
Not just toward the environment, but also in how we treat each other.
It's like this creation story lays the foundation for a whole system of ethics and morality.
Yeah.
Shaping how we interact with the world around us.
Right.
And with each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It sets the stage for how we should live in the world, how we should interact with creation, how we should relate to one another.
Right.
It's fascinating how these ancient texts still have so much to say about our modern world.
Speaking of how we live in the world, there's this detail in verse 29 where God provides food for both humans and animals. I find it interesting that it doesn't specify separate food sources, but rather suggests a shared sustenance. It hints at a harmonious coexistence, don't you think?
Yes, it paints a picture of a world where humans and animals are interconnected and share in the abundance of creation. It's not about one dominating the other, but rather a vision of interdependence and shared sustenance. And this ties back to the idea of stewardship we were discussing earlier. If we are called to care for creation, wouldn't that include ensuring the well-being of all creatures, not just our own?
It makes you wonder how things might have unfolded differently if we had truly embraced that vision of harmony and shared sustenance. Sadly, human history tells a different story.
It does.
One filled with conflict, exploitation, and a disconnect from the natural world.
That's true.
Yeah.
We've seen the consequences of straying from that initial vision of harmony. But perhaps this creation story serves as a reminder of what's possible. A vision of what we could strive for, even today. Maybe it's not too late to course correct.
Do you think this story offers a sort of blueprint?
I believe it does.
Yeah.
It invites us to reflect on how our actions align with that initial vision of very good that God declared after creation. It challenges us to examine our choices, both individually and collectively, and consider how we can better live in harmony with creation and with each other.
Which brings us back to that powerful closing statement in verse 31. And God saw all that he had made, and behold,
it was very good.
Powerful.
It's like a final seal of approval.
Yes.
A declaration of the inherent goodness and beauty of the world, including humanity.
And if we consider that humans, the final piece of that creation, declared very good, along with everything else. It raises some thought-provoking questions about our potential and purpose, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If everything was very good after humans were added to the mix, does that suggest we have a special role to play?
That's a compelling thought. It could be that our purpose as beings created in God's image is to be caretakers of that initial goodness to nurture and protect the harmony that was present at the beginning, to be responsible stewards of this incredible planet we've been entrusted with.
It's a huge responsibility.
It is.
But also incredibly inspiring.
Absolutely.
If we're capable of disrupting that harmony,
we're also capable of restoring it.
We are.
It suggests we have the capacity to make a positive difference in the world, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The Ethiopian Bible's creation story isn't just a passive account of how things came to be. It's a call to action, a challenge to live up to our potential, and a reminder of the responsibility that comes with being made in the image of God. It pushes us to ask ourselves, what will our legacy be? How will we contribute to the very good that was bestowed upon creation?
It really is remarkable how this story, passed down through generations, still speaks to us with such relevance today.
It's true.
It's like we're all part of this ongoing conversation about creation and our place in it.
Exactly. These narratives tap into something fundamental about the human experience, our desire to understand where we come from, why we're here, what our role is in the grand scheme of things, and the Ethiopian Bible's version with its unique language and imagery adds a layer of depth that I find truly captivating.
I agree. The way the Ethiopian Bible uses phrases like, let there be, and God saw that it was good. It creates this sense of rhythm and purpose, highlighting the deliberateness behind each stage of creation. It's almost poetic, don't you think?
It is.
And the emphasis on humans being made in the image of God, it takes us beyond just being another species on this planet.
It does. It elevates our role and suggests this incredible potential we carry. But it also comes with a weighty responsibility.
That responsibility really comes through in the concept of dominion. Which we discussed earlier. If we have this capacity to rule, even if it's meant to be a responsible stewardship, it makes you wonder.
It does.
What that truly looks like in our modern world.
It's a question we can't ignore. Especially given the environmental challenges we face today. The Ethiopian Bible prompts us to consider what actions truly align with being stewards of creation. What would it mean to live in a way that honors that initial very good that God declared?
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Ethiopian Bible's creation story, I'm left with the sense of awe at the beauty and complexity of the world, but also a renewed awareness of our responsibility to protect and preserve it. What stands out to you as the most impactful takeaway from this exploration?
For me, it's the interconnectedness of it all. The way the story weaves together, the creation of the natural world, the unique position of humanity, and the concept of responsible stewardship. It's a reminder that we are part of something much bigger than ourselves. And our actions have ripple effects throughout creation.
That's a powerful reminder. It's not just about understanding our origins, but about shaping our future.
Absolutely.
The Ethiopian Bible's creation story, even though it was written centuries ago, offers valuable insights for how we navigate these complex challenges of the 21st century. If God declared creation very good after making humans, what does that say about our potential and purpose in the world?
The big question.
What responsibility do we have to live up to that initial goodness? I think those are questions worth pondering as we continue this journey.
Absolutely. And perhaps by engaging with these ancient stories and asking those tough questions, we can find inspiration and guidance to create a future that truly reflects that initial harmony and goodness.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Ethiopian Bible's creation story.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll leave you with that thought-provoking challenge.
What
does it mean for you to be a responsible steward of creation in today's world?
It's a good question.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep questioning.